This is the brand new Lee Cougan Super Gravel. This could be your perfect gravel bike if you like combining single track and gravel roads on the same ride. Or you ride really rough gravel roads and your current gravel bike just isn't comfortable enough. Or you ride really long gravel rides. Think Unbound. So if you're crazy enough to race 200 plus miles on a gravel bike, this kind of bike could be perfect for you. Now, when I did my review last year using the Lee Cougan Rampage Innova frame built up as a mountain bike, I said during the review that this could be the perfect monster cross bike frame. Well, either Lee Cougan listened to me or they had the same idea. Regardless, you're looking at Lee Cougan's first monster cross bike. Now, I'm told that in some countries they refer to a monster cross bike as a mullet bike. Here in the US, a mullet bike is 29 wheel in the front, 27.5 in the back. So I'm gonna call this a monster cross bike. If you're not familiar with a monster cross bike, think mountain bike and gravel bike having a baby. That's what you have here. So typically a monster cross bike, or a mullet bike in some countries, is a bike that has a mountain bike frame, typically has a mountain bike suspension fork, and will have mountain bike wheels. Then you've got a drop bar. And of course you have shifters that are made for a drop bar. What's great about monster cross bikes is tire clearance is not an issue. So this bike has 2.25 tires with plenty of clearance. And we're gonna take a good close-up look at this bike. Now this is my first look review. My first look videos are videos where I show a bike up close. I have not ridden it yet. I literally just got this in my possession today. So let's take a close-up look at it. When this bike is released at the end of April 2025, there will be one complete build option and you're looking at it. This bike complete retails for $5,899 US, or you can get the frame for $3,299. So let's start by looking at the frame and then we're gonna look at the components. So this frame has 30 millimeters of travel. And this is Lee Cougan's proprietary design and it does work really well. What I like about this frame, and this is just from riding it as a mountain bike, is you do not know that you're on a bike with some suspension when you're sprinting, when you're cornering, when you're accelerating really fast. However, when you hit a bump, it definitely takes the edge off. So I'm really stoked about taking this out on gravel roads and then of course on single track. Now you can see there's plenty of tire clearance. So these are 2.25, so in the back and also up front, you can easily fit a 2.25, which is about as wide as you're going to want to go on a bike like this. You could probably put a 2.35 up front, and in the back, again, you've got plenty of clearance, so mud clearance, not an issue. Even down by the chain stays, you still have plenty of room there for mud to clear out. Let's take a look at the cockpit, starting with the stem. So it's got a 90 millimeter Microtech stem. Microtech is Basso's house brand. I think 90 millimeters is a really good length. And while we're up here, this does have the internal cable routing, which I honestly am not a fan of because of the extra maintenance in case you want to do like headset bearing maintenance or whatnot. But I do like the fact that this one goes through the top cap. Some of them will go in through the stem and it has a little place right here where the cables can go in. I like the fact that it goes to the top cap because you can put your own stem. I did have an issue with the bike that I had before. I wanted to get a shorter stem. The shortest I could go was 80, but since this goes to the top cap, you can put any stem that you would like. So the bars do have a little bit of a flare. It's a Basso bar. So Lee Cougan is owned by Basso. Lee Cougan was an American brand that was bought by Basso. And so these bars have a little bit of a flare to them. The seat post is an FSA carbon. Comes with a Celis San Marco saddle. I've used this saddle on other bikes and it is super comfortable. Honestly, has become one of my favorite saddles. What I like about this bike is it comes with a mountain bike suspension fork. So there are gravel suspension forks out there with very limited travel. Since this is a mountain bike fork, it's a Fox 32 step cast with 100 millimeters of travel, and it's the factory version. So it's got the Kashima coating on the stanchion tubes and it has a through axle. So I like the fact that it's 100 millimeters because I want to take this bike on single track and I want to go fast on single track, and having a 100 millimeter fork versus a gravel specific fork is going to further increase the flexibility of this bike. The wheels on this bike are Microtech, again, 29 wheels front and rear. So Microtech, like I said, is Basso's house brand. They're alloy wheels. The tires, CST Jackrabbit. I've actually never ridden these tires before, but they are tubeless ready and they are a 29 by 2.25. I love the choice of drivetrain on this bike. So it's SRAM GX Axis, so it's fully electronic. It's got a 12-speed cassette and the front chainring is a 34. So when I do my full review, I'll report back on how this drivetrain gearing does on hills, flat roads, whatnot. I think with a 34, you're going to be fine. A lot of times mountain bikes will have a 32, but it's nice to have a little bit taller gear in the front with a 34. But again, I'll report back when I do my full review of this bike. Shifters and brakes are SRAM Rival. So it's set up so that the right shifter is to shift up and the left shifter is to shift down. I also like the fact that Lee Cougan uses a 160 rotor, both front and also in the rear. They could have gone with like a 140 in the rear, but I think that would have limited the braking capabilities on rougher descents. Weighing this bike without pedals comes in at 23.88 pounds. If you want to convert that to kilograms, 10.83 kilos. So that is the brand new Lee Cougan Super Gravel. Definitely the most unique gravel bike that I've ever ridden. In fact, I think this is the first monster cross bike that I've ever had in my demo fleet. So I am very stoked about getting out and trying this bike. I'll have it for a month or two, so I will post a full review of this bike. I'm gonna get really creative with this bike in terms of what kind of rides I put together, which honestly is the beauty of a bike like this. So if you have any questions or comments so far, drop those below and stay tuned to the channel in a month or two where I'll post my full review. Thanks for watching.